Hey everybody, it's the last Robobakai here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Fate Samurai Remnant. I'm joined as always by Cool Guy, and we're going to be tucking into the search for that sassy assassin. Unfortunately, not immediately, because Boss does have something for us to do, and it's important. It's important that we do this for Boss because we need the money. We really need the money so that we can unlock the third combat stance.
And also, he's the king of everything. When he asks for something, you listen.
Yes, which technically we haven't really been doing because remember he did ask Iori and Saber to go out and gather cool things for him, and we haven't really done.
Yeah, well, there's an eventually on here.
Yeah, but is he a patient man? Let's find out.
Hear him out.
May yet regret this.
いかがした若旦那。
店先のわびしさに頭を悩ませていたのだ。どこぞの雑種どもが任を果たさぬゆえな。
Saber took that personally.
よもや俺の命を忘れていたなどということはあるまいが。
無論かようなことは。
I love it so much.
口を閉じよう。最後の慈悲だ。再び俺が命じる。我がバビロニアにさらなる輝きをもたらせ。良いな。
良いな。Okay.
対価はあるのだろうな。
尋ねるまでもなかろうが。金でも銀でもたーんと弾んでやろうとも。
Easy enough to please.
進化をねぎらうは王の務め。ただ働きなぞさせては。
I could listen to this voice all day too because the sheer range, he can be loud, he can be quiet, he can be menacing, he can be funny. Like the way he talks to children is different to how he talks to adults. And this laugh. God, he's good.
It's just a wonderfully buttery baritone, too.
Ah, yeah, just the perfect pitch.
極上のものだ。
香炉か。それはあれだな。
知っているのは名前だけか。香炉は香を焚くために用いる。
It's just a nice little thing that you can stick an incense stick in and light it up.
して若旦那。
Although I don't know if they had sticks back then, if they just...
Yeah, another not so subtle tell as to how old Saber is. But
yeah, and in perfectly honest, I don't know what form incense took for when they were burning it back in the Kain era either.
Yep.
I mostly just think of it when I think of incense burners and things like that. I sort of just remember, little Japanese shrines in the more modern aspects where they have little things you can just put the incense stick in. So it sets up
the clay incensaries is usually what you're looking at, but I sincerely doubt a clay vessel like that is going to be nice enough for boss.
Yeah, probably something nice and ornate.
香炉？確かにずっと持ち歩いていたが、さっき酔っ払ったところだ。ちょうど懐が寂しくなってきてな。
We was too late.
一体誰に？
川沿いの質屋さ。けど、ぶらついていて店にはいないと思うぞ。
Great.
面倒に巻き込まれたな。
Really? You need to stay away from that house in the back. Alright, if you say so.
Oh, that's us. That's Saber and Iori. Stay away from that.
Yeah, I suspected that's what was going on.
It's full of weirdos, and a little fox girl likes to turn up there occasionally as well.
Oh my god.
She sells
the fox
weed.
girl is the weirdest one. Seriously, do not engage in conversation.
Do not buy the little green baggie.
ああ、いたな。それが何か？
その香炉、俺たちに譲ってほしい。実は少々手違いがあったのだ。
は
A valiant attempt to not make it sound like they really, really need to have this item, and thereby not make it incredibly valuable. Again, proving that Ori is not silly. Unfortunately, neither is this fellow.
Yeah.
払えないなら帰ってくれ。他にも欲しがる奴はきっといるしな。
No Saber, no killing.
それか。こういうのはどうだ？近くの森に着いた浪人どもを乗してくれ。あいつらがいると。
That sounds like a much more reasonable arrangement.
言ったら、香炉を買い値で売ってやる。悪い取引じゃないだろ。
Now this is where you ask how much you bought it for.
待っていろ。
No, Iori. No, man.
俺はここで待っている。頼んだ
Get
ぞ。
set up to get pulled along there, friend.
あのアキンドよく口の回る。とく済ませるぞ。
I do really like Saber's run animations.
Yeah, for a minute there, I thought Saber was just going to keep running ahead because just to show how incredibly over this task she already was.
払ってもらう。
出たな。
Well, someone here hasn't girded their loins. They've merely ungirded their shoulder and
Something like that. Strictly speaking, you shouldn't need to gird your loins in the way I was talking about if you have like two-legged pants like that. But yeah, I don't think I would want to be lunging around in
see we
big
we
baggy
have a
pants
term
like
in
that either.
Australia for like pulling your pants off, and that's called dropping your dacks.
鋭き水の流れのごとく。
Just bringing the general cultural intelligence of the discussion down.
There we go.
There's still like a lot of things where the game wants you to like it's like, oh yeah, get some sky kills. It can be a little tricky. Oh, I may just have to grind it out at some point.
通行料なんざ取らねえ。勘弁してくれ。
Alright.
商人の元に戻るか。
There is no way that's the
お
end
い
of this.
待て。
おお、あんたらか。ずいぶんと早いよ。
Are you suggesting Shady Merchant isn't on the level?
貴殿、どこへ行くつもり？ 浪人どもを懲らしめてきたというのに、まさか香炉を売らずに逃げる算段か？
なわけないって。
Not quite menacing, but very, very dangerous level of,
Yeah,
of volume
right.
there on Iori's voice.
受け取れ。
I know exactly what you're up to. Okay, cool. Like fortunately, Iori didn't fail his intimidation check.
それじゃあな。その香炉大切にしてくれよ。
I guess, the guys just come back from like
よしよし。
decking the shit out of a bunch of dudes. You probably don't
で
want
は
to mess with them.
若旦那の元へ戻るぞ。より。
Can't lie, it's a really pretty smile Saber has.
Oh, yeah. All the smiles in this game must be cherished.
Yeah, like it.
Even she
I can think of way worse artistic imperatives for a game to have. Everybody who gives a genuine warm smile has to look fucking adorable.
これはなんとも。
待たせたな、若旦那よ。頼みの品、調達してきたぞ。
若旦那、その木造、どこかで仕入れた品だろうか。
いや、これはミヨから雨の霊にと献じられたものだ。この俺に神仏の像とは、ミヨめ。随分と。
So this is kind of another hint if you don't really know who Boss is by this point.
Right.
The suggestion that he would, ever pay fealty to our god is, aside from the time he asked for help because the giant monster was gonna eat him. But aside from that,
Don't worry about it. By and large, it was a giant thing that Gilgamesh in his epic was a massive iconoclast. Like he believed the gods existed or whatever, obviously, because he
told Ishtar, no, I will not have
when
sex with you.
Yeah, exactly. But he just had absolutely no use for them.
というところか。
Yeah, you might notice he had a little portal there. That's the access he has to his vault, which is one of his noble phantasms. All the treasures that he held, which are not insignificant, he can simply access like that.
これに似たものを掘っているだろう。
Damn it, Saber, shut up. Read the room.
ほう。貴様木彫りをたしなむというか。ならば宮本伊織よ。貴様
Oh, here it goes.
俺の像を掘れ。
So if we ever find a piece of pine, we can carve it into a statue of Boss.
愚問だな。
And he will, for a side quest, for a digression, much later in the game, ask for one. But we can make them at any time so long as we've got pine.
英雄たる俺を題材とできるのだ。ありがたく思え。
And he'll give us really good money for it too.
小野が姿の飴細工を作っていただろう。あれで十分だろうに。
はっ。俺は貴様らと違って多忙な身だ。あれこれ構わず作っていられるか。報酬はこれまでよりも弾んでやろう。貴様にしか務まらぬ仕事ゆえな。どうする？
わかった。引き受けよう。
それでよい。
Needless to say, also, the boss statue does things to your fingers trying to carve that sucker. Definitely don't go into it unprepared because the sheer number of inputs you'll have to press is a little startling.
勘弁願いたいな。
I'd advise. Oh, this should be good. Oh man, he just lets the point drop.
He's just like, don't expect much from me, please.
木彫りの像か。そういえば、師匠も手すさびに彫っていた。俺もたびたび真似ては見たが、師匠ほどの像は彫れずじまいだった。
That's just a matter of practice, Iori.
女の師匠も像を彫るのだろうか。いずれ訪ねてみるか。
Don't think they ever actually do get a chance to ask.
見直したぞ。
Yeah, and so he gives us some stuff to carve some regular statues.
Nice.
And we can sell the ones we've got here right now as well. And that's almost enough to... I think we need like 4,000. So we can go and carve some more. Which I did. Off screen!
やるか。
And now we can unlock the wind stance.
Fantastic.
Earth stance was a single katana. Water was 2 katanas. Wind stance is one-handing a katana and then in the other hand casting magic.
All right. So we're getting what is that one vid? Sword and Sorcery. That's what it is. There's that one video game where like you play it VR and it's basically that. Like the meta setup is that sword in one hand and making all sorts of crazy ass spells with the other.
Yeah, although obviously in the case of Iori, he only really knows how to make fire, so he's just going to make fire. And I'm going to show off the inputs required for the wind statue as well.
All right.
So yeah, as you can see, it's one more input than all the others. I feel like it's like 7 or 8 inputs for trying to make a boss. I think it's 7, and then like the last one is 8. it's and the timer is very short.
Majestic is the king. Pine. Yeah. I do appreciate how they just have a completely separate thing for that. Like there's just a totally separate item.
ユリか。いや何？ちとランサーのことを考えておってな。あのカンバセ、どうも見覚えがある。いつかどこかで会うていたのやも。
それは神明がわかるに越したことはないが。
Yeah, it's another one I haven't really thought that much about. Don't intend to.
それがいつでいずこなのかが思い出せんのよ。
I'm sure Gramps will remember at some point.
式女の顔を忘れるとは
Being that she is a foreign hero, it's going to be very difficult for any of the Japanese characters to really know who the hell that is anyway.
Connect to ley line. Oh, right.
We are now going on a little bit of a trip.
Yeah. I vaguely remember you mentioning this last game. Or last episode, rather.
Yeah. And so you can see we've got some little blue points on the map. They're more mystic codes. So we walk on those spaces, we claim the mystic code.
イオリ一人では難しそうだぞ。
着実に日本橋へ進む。裏を取られた時には任せるぞ、セイバー。
まあ良いが、気をつけろ。私とて一度に仕留められるのは群れ一つだ。
なあ、それでいい。さっさと片付けていこう。
使える霊装があるのではないか
We're on our way to collect one more, but whatever.
Yeah, you can ask Gramps for advice, and he'll say
Oh,
things.
that was in response to ask Gramps for help. I was wondering why he said that. I was very confused for a moment.
Sort of holding off on using the stuff at the moment because I don't know who's going where.
Okay, so that's interesting.
So I'm trying to make a bunch of judgments. Like,
Yeah, that's
that's basically what it is you've got to make a lot of really sort of tricky decisions. So yeah, the way Wind Stance works is that we now have a third bar. Casting magic empties the bar, hitting enemies with your attacks fills the bar. That's really it. It's just like, it's a very rapidly filling an empty gauge. Your basic heavy stance is you just throw fireballs. So you can't just like stand there and pew people from afar.
I do appreciate Iori just like getting a giant fist of fire on his offhand, and then one of his moves is just, here you go. Have this hot potato.
Mm-hmm. So now we have Darting Dragon. We already had it from before, but like it's worth iterating. Darting Dragon will give us 2 extra moves in a turn,
right,
when it's used.
そこが元凶のようじゃ
敵の増援が続くのはまずい。手を打つべきだな。
Oh, and he also tricky.
Oh ho.
Thing is, I'm pretty sure this is going to end badly for them.
Yeah, like don't you have a major spirit font right next to this area, and you can cut off both of those dorks?
I don't actually remember what I do, or if I even remember that this is a thing.
I still haven't actually ever played this.
There we go.
Yeah, all right. That was exactly what I was suggesting you do.
Yeah, I would have had to have been pretty blind to have missed that, but sometimes post-recording makes you go, oh yeah, that was the thing I messed up.
Alright, wonderful. Now you can get some of these areas under your control.
出打ったか霊脈の流れにも気を配るのじゃ
So now he's getting involved.
Yeah, and the Oni is starting to move.
Which means I should probably get involved.
Okay, cool, great. And they're perfect. Alright, that's pretty simple.
Now the afterglow effect of Wind Stance is interesting because it gives you a flame effect on your regular attacks. And so it can be used to do like extra little damage, particularly against Shell. Wind Stance is like really good and gets different powers related to wearing down Shell, which is really nice.
That's one of the primary problems you've had, so that is an incredibly useful.
So the Wind Stance is definitely what I would say for now is the monster killing stance. Our next 2 stances are fairly cracked. in their own way and can absolutely destroy everything that looks at you funny. So yeah, the game's going to give us the explanation now. Yeah, and you'll just, every time you hit the enemy, they'll get like a little bit of fire damage straight afterwards.
Got it. Alright.
And you can sort of see it, little green cloud exploding after our attacks. And it does good damage.
この勝利貴殿あってこそだ
我らが地敵
セイバーいけるか
任せておけより
Unfortunately, I won't be collecting every single ley line on this particular run. I kind of beef it in terms of like I could have gotten it, but I didn't really think about it too well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this is being introduced as a boss, so he's probably not gonna move that much, question mark?
Yeah, not sure. I'm mostly sort of looking down at the thing and being like, oh. But what if Darting Dragon? Yeah, so like I'm just like, in hindsight, not the ideal move. But unfortunately we don't really have all these spots we needed. So I should have gone the other way. So we've broken the bounded field. And then I make a really dumb decision here as well. What I should have done is I should have gone to the top point. And I think I do it? It's really hard to say at this point. Like, I make a lot of... I could have done this. I think I kind of, like, don't do it properly because I get real... Yeah, there we go. I underestimated, like, the amount of moves I had. I could have very easily made it.
Oh, right. I was sitting here thinking, why is it such a big deal here? And I forgot you have the turn time limit.
And the thing is I could have just moved one space, then used the Earth Arts, and it would have been fine. But
yep, that would have done it.
I flinched. I was like, oh god, I don't have enough time. I had plenty of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't really
let that
matter.
be the biggest mistake you make playing this game, right? Like, that's not the biggest deal on the world.
But yeah, we have a boss, and we gotta kill these waves of enemies first.
Honestly, just like wheel rolling snake was enough to charm me for this entire fight. That was wonderful to watch.
Yeah. I love like just like a lot of the enemy animations and we're actually going to encounter like a new enemy type on top of like the boss type enemy that we're going to have coming up soon. There's going to be I believe a side quest involving a new kind of enemy. Let's see if we can chew our way through this. Probably
you got 45 seconds to do so.
Well, if I just used Saber right now, I'd very easily do that, but... I'm a silly man! But again, it's like just, you know, slightly more rewards. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not super concerned about the topic one way or another. I still say, like, my favorite new move is just that whole charge thing. Iori gets a giant fireball in his left hand, and then he's just like, "Here, have this.
Yeah,
I got this for you."
And you can upgrade it. Like, you can upgrade a lot of the extra attack things to do more slashes before you drop the big fireball on them.
Oh, there you go. You did make it with 3 seconds left. Well, 2.5.
Well, except of course,
never mind.
That wasn't it.
Of course not.
It's boss time.
Giant phantom snake. Wow, Cerberus snake.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. That looks cool.
Yeah, three-headed snakes. It seems like Assassin can conjure a lot of unstandard snakes. Reminds me of the Neo 2 boss that has like snake head and then like 2 tiny snake arms. It's like
I was just sitting over here thinking of like the Twitter account "Can You Pet the Dog" will definitely was in the tank for you being able to pet Cerberus in Hades. So here's the question: would they care if you could pet the 3-headed snake? I feel like they should.
Well, I'm sure they already have an entry for Can You Pet the Dog on Fate Samurai Remnant.
I mean, they've got to.
Obviously,
like, holy crap.
You can pet almost literally every single dog in the existence of like Japan at this
right.
point, and the cats.
Many dogs.
There are many dogs on display that you must pet. And there we go.
Yeah. Calm down.
I don't know. You already managed to riposte a giant snake multiple times. It's fine. See, and now I'm like, can I get up there and get it now? I'm gonna spend a little time so like mathing it out in my head. It's like, can I go up there and get it now?
20. 5, 6.
And then of course I moved down there, and then I'm like, oh well, now I definitely can't.
You would have been a couple short if my own quick mental math is what it is, but I don't know how many specific actions you have. Are you down to one action per turn here? Yes, you are. Okay, then yeah.
See, this is the part where I'm like, can I get away with this? Like, no, I've only got one Earth Art. I could actually Earth Art my way through this if I hadn't used the other one wrong.
Yeah, like even if you would have turned back immediately, you would have run out of time.
Yeah, now we're in a completely new place. New map.
運の巡り次第ではそうだな。
何を弱気になっている。そんな心構えでは得られるものも得られまい。そもサーバントとは英雄英傑、並ならぬものである。
What the hell is she on about?
見たものがあれば整列に目に焼き付こう。
Well, Iori doesn't really believe they're going to be able to easily find something about Assassin.
Following up on Assassin, right? Yes, okay.
Who would be the hardest person to find out about stuff.
Precisely, somebody saw him, you wouldn't see him every day. Like, yes, that's precisely the point. That's precisely why our target is an assassin. You don't see him every day.
Then again, someone might have stepped out at the right time at night and seen something, and that starts a rumor, because that's definitely we went to one area and someone said, "Oh shit, I saw an old man," and then he vanished.
Hello.
Yeah, so now we have access to like a lot of new stuff, and obviously because we've carved some statues, now we have basically if when we end our 6 combo, if enemies hit us while we're powering it up, we'll do more damage. And then evasion is better when you're in the water stance.
Cool.
So that's pretty good.
All absolutely worth getting.
I'm just making Iori stronger and stronger. I'm mostly just like filling out all of this stuff. Water stance now has a longer range, which is really nice.
It already had a pretty long range.
Yeah, and our final combo for water stance now also gets like.
I really hope the camera behaves precisely like that in the game.
Yes.
It does. Awesome.
Oh, Iori goes places.
Well, just like they can't like that. That's a wonderful bit of stagecraft. Just like because.
At least I think it does.
From a technological standpoint, 3D cameras are a complete pain in the butt to do anything with. One of the most incredible, brilliant innovations of, living in 2020X is that if you want to go make a 3D game, you largely don't have to worry about the camera. Like, people have spent actual lifetimes of human experience working on 3D cameras for you. However, precisely because they've done all of that, it's also kind of annoying to do anything bespoke or special with them because they're a complete pain in the butt to work with. Having a very thought out piece of camera work like that, it's just like, hey, I'm gonna go fast now. I'm just gonna chill for a second so you can see how fast Iori is going. That is a large bit of just game love heaped on this game that I can appreciate very deeply.
I suppose it's because he just returns back to the last place he was, so there's no, like, if the animations are flying up, the actual, like,
fuck, octopus sushi and... Oh my god. Give her another serving! Are you joking? Good!
But now they're all out. We've eaten all of it, Saber. Please stop eating the table.
Oh man!
Oh god! Saber's eating the wood.
A lot of that is some of that is me mourning for like my favorite sushi place here in Kansas City just closed last month. So like I gotta find a new sushi joint now. Very sad.
That's very unfortunate. Yeah.
It was owned by a genuine Japanese immigrant who was a giant foodie. Like, she was great. I loved her.
Damn, that's really sad.
Yeah, and I hadn't been there in a while, so I don't know exactly what happened. But I can only hope everything is going wonderfully for her. And she decided to close it down because she had made plenty of money and wanted to try something new. Like,
yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So we're in Ugashi, and so far the characterizations we've got for it is they like fishing and also are prone to fighting and arguing.
I'm a big fan of that first part.
Yeah. A lot of fish markets around the place, and also everybody has no idea what the bridge is about.
Windbag Woman. That is quite a name, by the way.
Some lady just drooling.
Hey, dude, like, I can, like, fresh fish definitely give me cause to drool. Especially if there are sushi chefs around.
Yeah, there's like a relatively newer sushi place in my area now, not related to the Japanese restaurant that's opening in my area that I mentioned, like the second one that's opening in my area. Like, I'm hoping it has a different recipe from the other place, because they're actually in fairly close proximity to one another, which, like, kind of worries me a little.
If Kansas City, you know, like, milquetoast Midwest Central is any indication, there is a serious appetite for well-made Japanese food. No matter where you are.
Yeah, well, if you can ask for rumours, let's ask a storekeeper.
That's our neighborhood. We ain't heard about this cat. Ah, never mind. He's talking about this cat.
He just looks to the sky, closes his eyes, and goes, "Ah, this is how people see me, huh?"
Saber is so happy about this.
I don't think Saber understands. It's just like, oh no. You guys heard anything else? What else could there possibly be? A snake, maybe? Perhaps something just as frightening.
I love gossipy storytellers like this asshole. It's so fun to just waste an hour talking to these cats.
But yes, like, in terms of extremely strange things to see in Japan during this period,
definitely foreigners.
A foreigner is definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, 110%.
But do they mean Zheng?
ああ、それなら
And show you?
見た。あれだろ。南蛮船の
Doesn't seem like it, does it?
No,
Sailors.
sounds like a caravel.
It is actually worth noting there was an incident during this time period, and I say during the time period because a lot of characters I've actually sort of referred to are interconnected in this. A Dutch ship did end up having to make a sort of a landfall in Japan, and it caused quite a stir. And the remember I talked about the governor of Formosa? Well, apparently he negotiated. It was a Dutch ship, and apparently he sort of negotiated with the Japanese authorities, with the shogunate, and sort of explained to them, no, we're not. These people aren't Jesuits. These people aren't Catholic missionaries or anything. We're merchants and stuff we're moving through, and so they were able to sort of get out of that tangle quite effectively. And so, like the governor of Formosa, who was Frederick Coletta, I believe his name was Frederick Collette. He got a fair bit of like, you know, respect and fame for doing that, and then of course lost Formosa later.
Right.
So the idea of there being a bunch of sailors having turned up is not entirely impossible. In fact, it was a thing that happened.
あのしつこい船乗り連中のことだろう。奴らならもう行っちまったよ。あいつらやたらと吉原のことを尋ねてきてな。やれ場所はどこだ。
Sailors are looking for prostitutes. I mean, it's very on brand.
But that is canon.
Although obviously, since this is in the game, this isn't just some random thing, and there's obviously more to it than meets the eye.
Right.
I won't try and play dumb on that. It's they're not going to Yoshiwara for the women. They're going to Yoshiwara for
Dayu.
for the waxing moon ritual.
Yeah.
船乗りたちは吉原に向かったのか？
いや、どうだろうな。まだこの辺りをうろついてると思うぜ。俺が話を打ち切った後は五寺院ヶ原へ向かってったかな。
I'm not familiar with that district.
より海の向こうより岸者たち。吉原で遊びに強靭とする手合いか？
あるいは目立つのも構わず敵本拠に探りを入れる連中か。直接聞くのが早いだろう。五寺院ヶ原へ行くぞ。
Yeah, can't say I'm particularly familiar with it either, but it is part of this map. It is divided into the fishing markets areas, so then when you get further away, it sort of gets towards some more like rustic and more field areas. The map's not overly huge, at least in terms of like the space we can move around in.
Lots of alleyways.
And you can sort of hear noises when we stop there as well. You can sort of hear them. There's lots of yelling going on. I'm not familiar with Jizuke.
Me neither. Like it's best served chilled. I've never had it, brother. Like I'm gonna take your word for it. It's like the always ongoing argument about whether or not you should have sake served hot or sake served cold, and like there are proponents for both, and both have very reasonable arguments as to why they're right.
Yeah, and then there's comments about, like, you know, tea, and also like even ramen can be served chilled.
Yep, I personally will never take ramen chilled, but that's just because I have a huge preference for hot food. You know, like there are few things that will make me a happier human being than a hot meal, and just like an actual hot meal, freshly cooked and blah blah blah.
Let's see if we mouse over Chizuke and see what it says. Rice with chilled barley tea.
Barley tea.
Interesting. So that's just what it is.
I could get into that. Yeah.
It doesn't sound bad, does it?
Especially on a hot day, like barley tea, I could definitely see. You know, like that's a chilled tea or an iced tea.
Just getting our dog petting in while people are just like hollering in the background.
Dude, that dog is super into getting pet, and I don't blame him.
Okay, well, it's got the pats to give us skills, and that's all that matters. We're just going to be avoiding that ominous-looking fist on the map for a little bit and just going over and exploring here.
I mean, they're like... It's functionally still an RPG. How do you get all of your actual strength in an RPG? You do all of the side quests.
I have been gifted the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. As the time of recording this, I have played till 3 in the morning the night before.
And I thought I was the one of us that was prone to obsessive fugues.
I played 11 hours yesterday after we did like audio recording for like the previous episode. Help. Help. God. Like, in a way, I'm kind of like glad this game doesn't have nearly as many mini games as it sort of follows the Yakuza formula.
You're making your own mini games, moving the birds around, though.
I can't help it. It's so funny. A part of me wanted to like move them together as well. I wanted to get the two clumps together, but I was like, no, I have an episode to record. So yeah, the people of this region are a quarrelsome lot, which gives us a new mini game.
This is the primary pastime, just watching people beat the stuffing out of each other.
Good old silly fishing. Anyway, so whenever you see fists on the map, we're essentially going to be, quotation marks, mediating a conflict.
Yeah, alright.
For everybody understanding, everyone's understandings, when I do, like, audio editing just to make it easier for myself, I just set all the audio to mono, so you don't hear directional microphone stuff. This is actually kind of interesting because you can always tell who is going to do this next by the, like, this is on stereo audio for Cool Guy, so you would have heard that came from the right side of the headset.
Yeah, I heard that out of my right ear.
So you can actually tell when it's about to happen and what side it's coming from pretty easy, so it's actually really easy to do. Everyone in Edo just punches on like crazy for some reason.
I guess I flew off the handle there. Alright.
Yeah, and if everyone's wondering, Saber will block the left side. So Iori takes the right, Saber takes the left, and whoever throws the first punch gets blocked appropriately. Oh.
Oi.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Took notice with record speed.
Sorry, man, it's because you got a speech bubble over your head, but also Tsukunoshi
Also,
doesn't hang out
what in
here.
the hell is that logic? I thought taking the form of an acquaintance of yours would be effective. You're in the wrong area, asshole! We're halfway across Edo at this point!
Yeah, like, absolutely.
少しいいか話を聞かせてもらいたい。
ん？俺たちに一体何の？待て！こいつは。
Okay.
Master だ。
Yeah, that's one way to tip your hand extremely quickly.
おっとするな。誤算の紹介員を呼べ。
Before he calls his servant, I'm not certain. Like, you know enough, but just enough to be dangerous to yourself. I do appreciate that they're actually using cutlass. And that looks cool.
Remember that every time slows down when I'm suitably badass in this stance. So.
Okay,
I actually
then.
did the counter at exactly the right moment on that one. Possibly by accident.
撤退！総員撤退！
I will say they do have a chain of command and do seem to act intelligently.
逃がしたか。
It's a different kettle of fish to the brainwashed Tokugawa officials and the spies we've been facing.
がどうと言っていた。ならば狙いは太夫と師匠か。
確かめれば良いだけだ。捕らえて思惑を吐かせてくれる。
Logical plan of action.
余って殺すなよ。
Also a logical plan of action.
私は器用な太刀だ。任せろ。
Don't you just like the term the furtive serpent?
I forget what happens when you fill that particular.
Oh, that just
Or-
opens up another like skill circle of stuff
Oh,
for
okay.
Saber. But like I'm basically just going through and filling it like one at a time. Like I'll go on and I'll spend our skill gems and whatnot on Saber once Iori's have been filled out, but not a moment before.
確かにリーチの魔力は捨てがたいが見よ浅草から日本橋まで童貞が丸分かりじゃ
Yeah, before it was like a measured technical movement up. This time if we're gonna be like frantically chasing someone, we probably wouldn't notice somebody else like sneaking up and sort of, you know, poisoning the ley line or something like that. So in that
Or
particular
just
case,
snapping it in half.
yeah. So in that case, let's just get ourselves some sweet treats.
Some MAT. Some MAT. Whatever the hell that's supposed to be.
Well, whatever it is, it's doing all right.
この力
I should probably look that up at some point. Like I've made a comment about that like 8 times in this let's play, and I still don't know the answer.
Well, I hope you're ready for us not pursuing them, because we're not going to Zojoji yet. A digression just opened up behind us at the Yanagawara Embankment, which is a place we actually went and fought during our attempts to, you know, get through at the end of the previous chapter. But we didn't actually sort of hang around and have a look here.
何やら怪しい気配がある。怪異ではないようだが。ついてこい、より。気配をたどる。
Iori, however, in no hurry to do that.
セイバー、待て。なるほど。やはり気がかりは吉原に召喚されたはぐれでしょうか。
Rogue Berserker?
何はともあれ、よくぞここまで調べ上げました。
I'm not really surprised. Rogue Berserker is incredibly
スタートを
powerful.
お伝えするよ。
And also very difficult to control. It's still a mystery as to how Dayu does it, really.
はぐれの英霊。あの者たち、義に関わりがあるのか。吉原に召喚されたというのは。
Right, cool. So we're established there.
盗み聞きとは感心しませんね。
Keep your head up, man. Like, seriously.
その気配。セイバーとそのマスター。
They had no chance of hiding anyway.
ここで
These are Omnio mages. They know
Right.
their Omnioji fellas. They know their stuff. They likely would have sensed him coming a mile away.
機会かもしれません。
And this mysterious fella, who has his face covered up similar to the Tsuchimikado,
ここは
doesn't really seem like he's all that bothered by our present.
セイバー。
He's just on. Yeah, he's pretty clear on the fact that he just wants to figure out if we can throw down.
And it looks like we're going to definitely be doing that. But like you mean it, I guess.
Oh, cool. It's a Pokemon fight then.
Yeah, he sent Inari to fight us. Omnioji do fight as well. They're actually extremely annoying to fight because you get a bunch of them together and they will just projectile combo you to death.
They also don't appear to flinch much for anything, so it's a little bit more difficult to.
I'm trying desperately to dodge this stuff and I'm getting hit by monsters and magic and I'm like, please stop, no, stop,
just
please stop.
remembering the time you played Tokyo Ghostwire and half of your game was throwing those talisman around.
Yeah. And yeah, you've got the Azuna as the big one. So they've introduced a new kind of enemy and also introduced the boss version of it.
big ass water fox there.
And I just do not have time for any of them.
At least you got rid of all of the rabble.
Yeah. Like we said, we did have a little bit of a talk about the difference between like, you know, the kitsune and the inari. I don't think we mentioned kind of when we did talk about the kitsune is that like each tale is basically magical power that they develop over time. So
Correct.
like the idea of the nine-tailed fox is one that has been around for a very long time and significantly developed their power. Obviously, I don't think fox spirits have quite that going on for them. I believe they're mostly just ghosts. Although, like I said, Armenia Seme was apparently half Inari, so who knows? It's likely two different kinds of fox spirits from two different regions of Japan, just becoming more accommodated in the general yokai lexicon.
Right, like a lot of this goes into. I love that move. I still love that move. A lot of this goes into just the outstandingly detailed storytelling that goes into a lot of Shinto traditions, wherein you know like they spend a lot of time explaining a lot of very specific points of human experience with these similar touchstones like foxes. It's just it makes for wonderful storytelling, and I absolutely adore it.
Yeah. Well, I will say they never really collated the different stories of Japan. I talked about this in the Neo Let's Play when we were doing the Date Masamune DLC. About how it really only came post World War II, where people started really collating all of the folk stories of the different regions together to more comprehensively record yokai in terms of the stories and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about it, Saber. It's a lot of throwing gang signs and pieces of paper. One second they're telling you in the crypts, next thing they're telling you in the Bloods, and then they slap this like piece of paper at you, and it turns into like a larger piece of paper with wings, and it slams into you, and it's on fire, and you fall over.
And then you actually figure out that they were Iko-Iki, and that's just worse than both Crips and Bloods combined.
Yeah, Iko-Iki are they're like the hangnail of monks.
Yeah, like every bad stereotype of religious extremism that you can think of, good 90% chance it exists in the Iko-Iki, and it's combined with the fact that Shinto is a very traditional and like accretionist religion versus something like one of the Abrahamic religions, where you go back and there's kind of an established canon for everything. If you're Christian, there's an established canon. If you're Jewish, there's an established canon. If you're Muslim, there's an established canon. But there's much more tradition and personal experience with a lot of Shinto rites, and a lot of the Iko-Iki take full exploitative advantage of that.
I always thought the only cannon the Iko-Iki cared about was the one they would put over on their walls to try and shoot at the people coming to get them. They very much went out like your standard American cult.
Yeah, that like.
Armed more or less screaming and surrounded by the fence.
There are much more vicious comparisons I could make with American Christian Christian extremists specifically, and like fucking. Actually, you know what? I'll just go ahead and fucking say it. The Iko-Iki were basically the Ku Klux Klan of Shinto. It's fucking awful people.
And nothing of value was lost.
Nothing of value was lost.
In fact, the place where they had their gigantic fort, like, wow, you guys built yourself a fort, like, was basically used as the foundations for building Osaka Castle.
Yep.
So they had extremely huge tracts of land to be able to like build this thing, and it was such a good fortification that it was just used as a foundation to build the Toyotomi's castle.
Yeah, no, like
Which
it
was
had to be
an absolute bastard to take.
It had like the Iko Iki, the campaign to extinguish the Iko Iki was in its own right a daimyo versus daimyo Sengoku campaign. Like that is how serious they were, and I hate that.
I can't imagine why the role of mage and religious advisors was diminished during the Tokugawa reign. I say, looking extremely stone-faced. So yeah, next time we're going to continue pursuing those pirates, those sailors. They're sailors, they're not actually pirates. They actually do have a non-pirate employer, but I just like to call them pirates because they look like them. But then again, I never knew a sailor from that period. They probably all dressed like that.
There were like that. That wasn't uncommon. What's the word I'm looking? Garb for them.
Yeah, you wear what works. So yeah, I've been the Lost Robokai,
and I have been Cool Guy.
Next time we visit another new place, and we also make a new friend violently.
Goku diplomacy, got it.
Yep, diplomacy at the end of a spear. See you all next time.